went to film school so you don't have to. The show that shows you some tips and tricks on how to make your film / video / newsreel / bar mitzvahs / swim meets / family home movies better. Whether you're a serious filmmaker or a mom with a blog or a kid making a skateboarding video, I can help. Because I went to film school so you don't have to. In this episode, we'll be talking about the scene. Have you seen the scene? Here's the scene. Let's talk about making a scene. How to shoot a scene. How to put a scene together. It's scene time. Have you seen it? Let's talk about a scene. What is a scene? Well, the textbook definition of a scene is a unit of drama. But that's a disappointing definition. So what is a scene really? Well, it's anything you capture with your camera. So it's probably a good idea to go watch our first episode of the show called The Shot, where we talk about different shot types, because we're going to use those shot types in order to build our scene today. Let's start simple and build a complex. Of course, first we're going to need a script or a story or some kind of idea of what this scene is we're going to shoot. Let's go digging. Looks like we found one. Eureka! This is a script from 1954. Detective Tony Blanca and the Mystery in the Alley. Oh, that sounds like fun. Okay, take a quick look. Oh, that's nice. Oh, there's a lot of surprises in this one. Let's go make it. So what do we need? To make our scene? Well, aside from the camera and lights, of course, which we'll get into in more detail in a later episode, what we need first is a plan. The camera and lights are behind me, aren't they? We'll talk about you later, guys. They're very eager. You gotta give them credit for that. And they're the only crew I have. So now, a plan.
Step 1, block the scene. Step 2, make your shot list. Step 3, place your camera. Step 4, rehearse the shot. Step 5, shoot the sucker.
Let's get started. So in this scene, we have Tony. Hello, Tony. Hello. And Tony is going to play a detective. Oh, sounds like fun. Now, in order to block a scene, you have to know where you're going to shoot it. In this case, the scene takes place in the exterior of an alley at night. So let's go to the location. Ready, Tony? Huh?
Oh, that's cool.
All right, I need a script. Somebody give me a script. I need a script.
You left it in the bathroom again.
Oh.
Okay. It's a little embarrassing. Okay, so here's the scene. Detective Tony Blanca meets a desperate woman in an alley. He walks into the alley, finishing his delicious Braunschweiger sandwich. So he gets so into his sandwich that he doesn't notice that someone has walked up behind him. He turns, and then he has a scene with who he discovers is the dame that called him in the first place. I'm going to need a stand-in. Let's walk through it. I need a stand-in for the dame. Honey?
Did you just call me a dame?
Is that bad? Is that bad? That's bad. I'm in trouble. I think so. Okay, well, let's walk through it with my fantastic wife.
Don't push it.
And my good pal, Tony.
If you need a place to crash, I think
it'll be okay.
All right.
I think it'll be fine.
Okay.
How about you step out over here?
All right.
And we'll walk through the scene. It's important to make sure you block through the scene so your actors can see where they need to stop in relation to the camera. So we're gonna walk through it, and let's see here. So you're gonna walk into the alley, enjoying your delicious sandwich, and maybe stop here and just really savor each bite. Let's take it that far. Let's see how that looks. So why don't you come back in and action rehearsal. All right, cut. All right, that was good. That was good. Let's move on to the next section. Let's incorporate Jen now, my lovely wife, not a dame, not a dame. And Tony, why don't you come in too? Let's see. Show me where you stopped on your mark. Right there. Right there. Good. And Jen, maybe how about you walk in and stop right here. And let's see how that looks. Back to one, everyone. Turn time. You use the term back to one to tell everyone to reset to the top of the shot. Now, why one? Well, throughout the course of the shot, you may have actors moving through a set. And each time they move to a different location on that set, a number is given to that position. So their first mark may be off camera, that's 1. Their second mark may be into a medium close-up on camera, that's 2. Their third mark may be into a mark that is far away from the camera, and that's 3. So when you say back to 1, it means reset to the top.
You know, I was actually talking about this with one of the actors. I just finished a couple episodes of Awkward last week, and like I was talking about how, you know, the actor hates hearing this from directors, which is like, okay, we have it that way. Now try this, but it's really true, you know. And sometimes when I say it, I really mean it. Like, you know what? I hadn't thought of that line going that way, but I like the choice, and we have that. We just shot that take. Now let's try it this way. And I think this actress was saying that like that's a director cop, like not a cop out, but that's like a director lie. Like when the director comes up to an actor and goes, okay, we have that. Now let's try this. It is code for that sucked. Now do it my way. But I'll tell you, from being in the editing room a lot, sometimes I will go with that way I wasn't expecting, but I do want to get it the way I was hoping for as well. That's why I try to never, ever, ever give a note before the rehearsal or before the first take. Don't tell them how you want them to say it until you've heard it. Like, then you can tell them, like, look, if there's a way I want it to be said or played and it's not getting there, I will keep pushing and molding until I have it my way. But I'll never tell them my way before they've done it once. Because maybe I'll like what they do better. If I, you know, you gotta let them do it at least once. I was telling someone, and I thought everyone did this, but not everyone does this. But like, when I say cut, I never just say cut. I always say cut, great. It's just a reflex, like cut, great. And that's great's not for the crew around me, that's for the actor. And then they need to know, like, even if it was terrible, like they need the positive reinforcement that they're trying, they're gonna, great, let's do it again, and here's why, and here's what we do.
It was scary. And when I dealt with Robert Guillaume, who was Benson, played the character Benson, and he was also Benson in the half-hour comedy called Soap. And they did a spin-off, which was very successful, which is Benson. And I worked as a associate director on that show, and then I moved up and directed the last episode before it went off to a hiatus. And when I was doing that, I had one experience on my first show, and it was a network. I had my first encounter with Robert Guillaume, who was very tough and fair but tough. And he asked me, well, "What are you worried about my blocking for? Where I'm going to get my mark?" And I said, "Well, Robert, I'm not interested in you hitting your mark. I'm not interested in the cameras. I'm interested in the play. I'm interested in the story, and I'm interested in what you're going to bring to it. I don't care about the cameras." And I said to him, I used the F word, but I said, "Screw the cameras." And he smiled at me because he said, "Well, every other director comes in here, and they only worry about their cameras and the camera shots." I said, "Bob," I'm only concerned about you and the story."
That's great.
So we became pretty good friends after that, and on my first show.
What about the sandwich? Huh?
Just fake it for now.
Really?
Yeah, you're gonna have it for real in a few minutes. Just fake it. You're an actor. Fake it. Pretend. All right. Action rehearsal. Cut. That's not right. Let's cut. That's not going to work. That's not going to work. Oftentimes, when you're blocking a scene, you want to walk through it before you have all the lights set up, and then before the actors get really invested or get angry at you because they're in the wardrobe and they're saying the lines. So you want to walk through the scene like we're doing right now, well before we're actually going to shoot it, so that you can discover if there's problems. In this case, that turn was not very good or very funny, so we're going to try to do something different. So instead, how about you hit your mark? Let me see you on your mark. Okay, and then instead of coming here, how about you just come right here, right behind him? Yeah, that's better. I think that's a lot better. Let's see that. And action rehearsal.
Oh, I am so sorry.
Cut. I don't want to ruin the scene for you guys. You're going to get to see the entire thing put together here in just a moment. Let's move on to step 2. Step 2 is making your shot list. Now, a shot list is an incredibly useful tool. You may find that you deviate from it once you're actually shooting the scene. However, you need to have a place to start, and it allows you to organize your thoughts and break down the scene into individual shots so that you can understand how you can execute them and create your sequence. Term time! Sequence. A sequence is a series of action or shots that make up a scene. A sequence. You can have a chase sequence as two people chase each other through the city streets. You can also have a sequence of shots where you go from a medium close-up to a close-up to a wide shot in order to tell your story. A sequence. So when making up your shot list, you're going to be thinking about the different types of shots that we covered in the first episode of the show, The Shot, PROM to Film School. So check out that video. Each of the shots you decide to use are up to you. Now first though, you might want to use a master shot. So a master shot covers the primary action of the scene. In this case, we have Tony Blanca, our detective hero, walking into an alley eating a sandwich at night, waiting for a woman who's going to join him and ask for his help. Now, we're going to have our wide shot for our master shot so that we can not only see Tony, but also the alley. We get a good sense of where he's going to be in the alley versus where she might be. And then we're going to see her entrance and have a clean shot of her entering into the alley as well. And then we have a nice wide shot of the two of them talking. Now, this master shot is important for a few reasons. One, it gives you something to fall back to if your other shots aren't working for you. And two, it gives you the spine of the scene. It gives you a shot that you can lay down when you edit and see the entire scene from beginning to end. And then use that as a guide for when you want to go in for your coverage. Term time! Coverage! Coverage refers to the types of shots that make up a scene. So you have your master shot, and then you have your close-ups and your medium shots and your over-the-shoulders. Now let's get back to our shot list. So we're going to have a master shot that's going to be a wide shot. Now, and that's going to be our first shot. It's the first shot we're going to do. We're going to call that shot A. Now you want to use the alphabet in order to label your shots. So the first shot you do is called shot A. The second shot, shot B. The third shot, shot C. Now why do you use letters instead of numbers? Well, because you use numbers to identify the scene. So in this case, this alley scene that we're about to shoot is actually the second scene in our short. So it's going to be scene 2, shot A. That's our master shot. So that's all we need in order to create this scene. A master shot that shows all of the action of the scene. 2 over-the-shoulder shots that allow us to see the relationship between the two characters. It's always nice to see both of them in the shot together. And then 2 close-ups, 1 for each character, so we can really see what they're thinking and have a lot of options when we get into the editing room. Step 3, placing the camera. Now we made our shot list, I think the first shot we're going to do is our master shot. So we're going to place the camera and set it up in order to execute our master shot. Now when you get to set, sometimes things have changed. So you have to adjust your shot list. Suddenly the order you were going to shoot everything in has to be readjusted.
Anybody hear a dog?
There's always something with Gorilla Pump.
There always is something, and that's another thing. If you're shooting out, try to shoot indoors whenever possible. And even when you are indoors, there's always going to be something like this, and you got to plan for that.
Whatever you have planned in your head is not going to go the way that you think it's going to go. So you got to be flexible.
Have a backup.
You got to be flexible and go, well, we didn't expect that, now we got to do this. So
be organized. The more organized you can get, I mean, when you have the less you have at your disposal, the more you have to be organized. But when you have no budget and you're working on a shoestring, you've got to storyboard everything. You do a shot list of everything so that you know exactly what you need in order to edit your project. You need this shot, you need this shot, you need this shot. And like Dave was saying, if you have a backup as well, you got to plan for stuff not working out.
Schedule every minute, one sunrise, one sunset.
Like right now, I'm thinking in my head, okay, after we do this interview, we got to shoot a sketch, and there's this dog barking. How are we going to deal with that? We're going to have to deal with it somehow, but we will. We'll work it out.
I'll go ahead and play with them.
Yeah,
there's always
Liz
a
will play
way.
with the dog, and we'll bring the dog out here, and he'll play with us or something. It'll work out. It always does, but you have to assume that something will take longer than you think. Don't be unrealistic about your shoot day. If you say like, oh, it's gonna take 2 hours.
It's gonna be
a day.
It's gonna be the whole day.
Oh yeah,
Never
that's
say
something.
It's gonna take 2 hours.
Yeah, people who don't have experience, they are delusional. Like, oh, it only take 5 minutes. No.
They think the runtime in their head, and they're like,
yeah,
it's
exactly.
5 minutes.
It
Yeah,
takes me 5 minutes to
we'll do it
watch
3 times. It'll take 15 minutes.
Right. You're right. Exactly.
Yeah, but also, I mean, because it's true, it's gonna take a day. No matter what's gonna take a day, but that's not a bad thing. If everyone's here and say it only does take an hour, make it take a day. Make it better. Use that time you have while everyone's here and keep working until it's better.
And if the actor had a problem with the blocking, and say, well, I can't get down from that stairway to that doorway in the time you want me to, then I would rearrange the blocking. and I would take the actor into consideration because, you know, let's face it, without the actor, we don't have any work. And so, you know, I learned to listen to the actor. I learned to know what their problems were, and I was able to confront them before they got out of hand and before there was, you know, rebellion on my hands. Because the actors are smart, and they know where they're, you know, they pretty much know what they're doing.
So in this case, we're going to start with our master shot, and then we're going to move on, because we want to keep it simple. We're going to move on to the next shot on the list, and we're just going to shoot this one in the order, what? Really? Okay, really. We have to make an adjustment. So the actress, her makeup and everything is such that we need to shoot her first. If we wait to shoot her last, she's not going to look as good and not going to be as happy with the end result. So I've just been told by one of our producers that I have to shoot her first. So I have to adjust my shot list. So we're going to do the master shot first, and then we're going to go in and do her side, which does mean we have to move some lights, but we're going to be clever about it and try not to waste too much time. And we're going to shoot her side first, and then we'll move around and do Tony's second. So our shot A will be our master shot. Our shot B, though, is still going to be, in shot C, the Tony over the shoulder and close-ups. We're not going to change how we've labeled the shots on our shot list. We're simply going to shoot them in a different order. Step 4, rehearse the shot. You want to walk through each shot with the actors and with the camera. And if you have a crew, you want to do this so that everybody can choreograph their movements together if there is any movement, and so that everybody knows when to start and stop the scene. And also it gives you, as the director, an opportunity to make any adjustments to performances before you actually record anything to tape or film. All right, so our master shot is going to be a handheld over Tony's shoulder, following him into the alley. So let's walk through it with Tony, so we both know what we're doing, and then we're going to light the set and wait for the sun to go down to shoot the scene. Let's do it. All right, Tony, here we go. And action rehearsal. Cut. Great. Now here's step 5. Shoot the sucker. Go make some magic with your camera. Now here's our scene. Enjoy.
I had just sat down to a nice bologna on wheat with basil and avocado, just a hint of mustard, just a hint. An old film was on the tube and I had plans to stay in. That's when I got the call. Hello?
Detective Plunkett?
Yeah, that's the guy you're talking to.
Detective Plunkett, I'm in trouble.
Not surprised. She told me I had to meet her in a nearby alley. She said it was a matter of life or death. That's pretty normal for a Saturday night in the city. Although last week someone called about a matter of death or life. And the week before that they wanted cake.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Oh my, you are a puppet.
You got a problem with that big guy?
Well, no. There's room for all of us.
Uh-huh. You greet all the women who need your help with flying lunch meat?
Of course not. You said you were in trouble.
That's right.
She threw her hair back and put her little puppet hand next to her forehead in despair.
You know I can hear you.
Sorry, I sometimes forget that we add that in post.
Can we talk about me now?
Sorry.
You know, you say that a lot doesn't instill much confidence.
Sorry. So, you said you're in trouble.
The worst kind.
That is the worst kind. When did it start?
Today.
What time?
2:18 p.m. and 22 seconds.
Wow, that is strangely specific.
Thank you.
What is the trouble?
You sure you can handle it, Slick?
I can handle anything.
You couldn't handle your sandwich.
You surprised me.
You disappointed me.
Ouch.
I know, I cut you deep. It's my way. I'm a puppet.
Can we get back to the point?
It's Carl. He wants to change me. New eyes, new ears, new nose.
That's sick.
Not really, I'm a puppet. It's all Velcro.
Okay.
It's not the new look that scares me, Detective. It's why.
Why?
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 Why? That's what I said. Why?
Why does he want you to change?
He wants to knock over the savings and loans.
When?
What? I couldn't hear you over the music sting.
When is it going to happen?
3 minutes and 42 seconds.
You could have called. You could have. You could have. You could have called me earlier.
I had a hair appointment. Where is that coming from?
I don't.
Tune in next week when you'll hear Tony say,
Holy salami.
and the puppet will say,
Why don't I have a name?
because the writer is lazy. Thank you. Catch you next time.